So this is a Stanley Cordova plane that I got a few days ago. It's in really rough shape, and I've been spending quite a while cleaning it all up and polishing it nice. So these screws in the front knob and in the rear tote, as well as the lever cap, were badly mushroomed. So we dressed them and polished them up by wrapping some electrical tape around the threads to protect them and throwing it in the drill press and just hitting it with some 250, then up to 600, and then up to some 1500 wet dry. So there's a little bit of work that needs to be done. You'll notice on these ones that the frog to blade surface is unmachined. This is really unfortunate because of course then your blade isn't going to sit real nice against the frog. So I'm just going to take this frog out. So you can see a lot of times guys complained because there was paint sitting on the frog contact surfaces, which meant that the frog didn't sit right. So you can kind of see where the rust has pooled in and where it's been clean. So I'm not 100% sure as to how well the frog is sitting inside. And then here too, you can see my cameras, there we go. You can see there's actually two layers here on these pads. So because the contacts on the bottom of the frog, this is all one level, it's only going to sit on these raised portions. So of course now that's going to give us a little bit of grief. So when it's in, you can see there's quite a bit of rock in the frog. So that's where it sits naturally, and then that's when it goes off balance. But it doesn't actually sit properly fully down. So that to me shows that for whatever reason, probably poor machining, which is known on these Cordovas, is that we're not getting a proper seat on our pads. Another issue that I noticed right away was that we've got some lift on the back of the tote here. Now when the screw isn't tightened all the way, this will sit nicely on the bottom. It'll sit flush, it'll sit level, but as soon as we tighten this down, then the rear of the tote tilts up, which of course is no good. To me, that is going to cause this tote to be prone to breaking over time. So I've got some Purple Heart that I'm going to just make a new tote. I picked up, you can get templates for totes off of Lee Valley's website. So this is the tote for the number 4, and they actually work with the number 2, 3, or 4 planes. And you get a full instruction manual on it. Tells you how to do everything. And I believe for the number 2 and 3 planes on this particular tote, you just have to cut the mating surface at a slightly different angle. This one for the number 4 sits at you cut it at a 26 degree, and I think the number 2 and 3, I believe they go to a 22 degree, but don't quote me on that. So a little bit what I've done so far is I've taken this all apart and cleaned all the surface rust out of it. And then two, on the adjuster cam here, I doubt that's actually the proper name, but that's what I'm going to call it. I've actually taken my Dremel and taken the cast flashing off of it just to make it a little bit nicer, and I cleaned up the pin there, hammered it out and cleaned it up, and then I did the polishing of this lever cap screw as well. And then of course I polished up the frog screws. These were in really bad shape. I recovered them the best I could. You can see kind of right there how it's blown out. It had mushroomed and cracked out pretty good, but we saved it and it turned out all right. For now, I've stripped the original tote and knob, and I've just stained them and put a quick coat of clear on them just to kind of see what they'd look like. And then on the bottom here you can see that I've kind of tested for flatness, and as you can see, we're not very flat. We've got quite a valley near the mouth opening and in the toe as well. The heel, back of the heel's flat, which is a bonus, but it's going to need some work. We want to get the frog sitting properly before I continue with the flattening process. I wanted to just see how bad it was. It's not as bad as it could be, which is a good thing, but so that's kind of where the Cordova is sitting. There's not a whole lot of markings on it, and unfortunately you'll notice we don't have the precision adjustment screw for the frog in the back, which is unfortunate. I was rather disappointed to find out that I don't have that, so it's got to be adjusted manually via loosening these two screws and just sliding it either forward or backward. Then I plan to tighten this up, the lateral adjustment lever. It's fairly loose right there, like there's no resistance whatsoever, and even when the chip breaker and blade are in there, it has a little less play, but it's still not fantastic. I haven't done a whole lot of work on the blade and chip breaker because I'm partial on just replacing them with something from Lee Valley. But I am going to lap the back here, and I reground this because there was a dent in the side. There is still a little one over in this corner. You can kind of see it there, just right on the very edge. It's a small nick. But it is what it is. And then the lever cap, it's got an uneven mating surface here, and it's almost as if someone took a grinder to it. In fact, I'm betting that someone did, because you can see it, the whole thing is raw cast iron, but right here you can see that quite clearly that it looks like someone took a grinder to it. But it is what it is, and I'm trying to make the best of it. So it was given to me at no cost, so I can't really complain.